Bienvenidos a La Vuelta, un podcast con actitud. Y estamos hoy aquí en un hotel bien bonito, detrás de la piscina, en Isla Verde. Y hoy tengo un invitado muy especial, pero antes de eso quiero que sepan que a nosotros en La Vuelta nos pueden seguir en nuestras redes sociales, en Facebook, Twitter, Instagram y YouTube como La Vuelta PR. Se pueden suscribir a nuestro canal totalmente gratis y ahí pueden ver todo el contenido de La Vuelta, entrevistas y todo lo que se nos ocurra, las loqueras que tenemos. En el día de hoy tenemos a una persona muy importante en la lucha libre de Puerto Rico y una persona que impactó las carreras de muchas personas en Puerto Rico, que fue maestro de muchos luchadores, incluyéndome a mí. Y hoy es más que un honor tener a mi lado al chico glamuroso Shane, the Glamour Boy.
I'm about to shed a tear.
Woo!
I'm crying on the inside. On the inside, I'm crying. That's a wonderful introduction, Dennis.
Bro, thank you for being here in my podcast. It's an honor. We've been friends, man, more than, I think, 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
Before I was a wrestler,
Yeah.
I know you.
Yeah.
And
then I remember when you first start to want to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
You are setting up the ring.
Yes.
I remember it was in Bayamon. I saw you one time. I think maybe you even wrestled 2 times that night in Bayamon, probably under a mask.
Yeah.
And then also you wrestled. And then it's you and Noel at that time.
Yeah.
You guys are taking the ring from the Bayamon is not an easy place to put the
It's
ring
the
because
worst.
you have to come down the stairs.
It's the worst.
Right. And I remember seeing you guys do that, and I was like, man, Savio, your brother, was in charge of the company, IWA
Yes.
at the time. And when you said you wanted to get into the business, he wanted to break you in the right way. And it's the same way that I broke into the business when I first learned in England. I went to England to learn how to wrestle. And it was the same thing. I have to set up the ring. I have to wrestle maybe 2 or 3 times in the night, and when I saw that, I thought that was wonderful. And I think you get to appreciate the hard work that goes into putting together a wrestling show.
Yes.
It's not just about the wrestlers going out there, but it's all the people that make that show happen, to get the building, to get the permits, to get this, to get that, to get the cantina ready, to do the promos, to do the TV, to do all the stuff that's behind the scenes. A lot of people don't get to see that. All they see is the people that go out in front of the cameras, the wrestlers that go out to wrestle in the night, but there's so much more that goes into it for that.
Yes.
So you got to learn that from the bottom to when you were up and as a champion in the IWA, because you did. What you did was you started from the bottom, you came up, and then you guys became champions in the IWA, right?
It's like we say in the business, we pay our dues.
You did pay your dues, brother. Not a lot of people pay their dues.
No,
but,
not in these days.
Not
in these days.
Yeah, but you did, and it's a wonderful way to do it because it's old school.
I think it was the best way, for me, I take that with a lot of pride.
Yeah.
Because coming from my brother that he was in the best position in
Who
the
is
company.
Your brother? Who is that guy?
Savio Vega.
Ken
you're one of your best friend and one of your worst enemies.
One of my best friends and my worst enemies. Ooh, that's Savio. I'll tell you something. You just mentioned that name, and my blood, my hair starts to stand up on my arms. I can't wait to get my hands on Savio Vega. But then again, he can be the best ally or the best enemy. You're so right.
Yeah. So Shane,
Yeah.
let's start, like you told, you start in England. And for me, it's a surprise because from you coming from Canada, there's a place that got a lot of wrestling, a lot of schools. Stu Hart is one of the most known guys to have a school in Canada.
Yeah.
So you start, your first time in the business was in UK?
Yeah, I used to go to a gym in Toronto, in Canada.
All right.
And it was called Max Gym. And at the time, he had a wrestling school in the gym. And they had the ring in the gym, and I think I was 14 years old.
Damn,
14 years old, and I was lifting weights. I had a friend that brought me to the gym. We were lifting weights in the gym, and I would see the guys in the corner practicing the wrestling in the ring, and the sound of the ring would make bah bah. It was incredible. So I always was a fan of wrestling. I used to go to Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens to watch Ric Flair, Roddy Piper, Ricky Steamboat, and then Hulk Hogan back in the day when his Real American would hit. Everybody would go like crazy in Toronto.
Yes.
So I fell in love with the wrestling, and I met this one guy in the school. His name was Steve Ocean. His wrestling name was Steve Ocean. His real name was Steve Irwin. But I said, hey, how do I become a wrestler? I want to become a wrestler. I want to do what you're doing.
Yes.
He said, get a pair of trunks, get a pair of wrestling boots, take a picture with an American flag and send it to this promoter in England. And I said, that's all I have to do? He said, yeah, just do that. So I did that, and the promoter called me and said, hey, can you come over? I think I took a picture with my name was Sweet Ricky Diamond was my first.
Sweet Ricky Diamond.
Yes, my favorite wrestler of all time is Sweet Ebony Diamond, who is The Rock's father, right. Rocky Johnson.
Rocky Johnson, yeah.
Rocky.
You used to come here to the island, too.
Yeah, Rocky Johnson, I used to see him in Toronto, and he would do the shuffle with his feet.
Yes.
He'd shuffle his feet, he'd jab, and then he'd...
Yeah,
and
the big one, like Sugar Ray Leonard,
yeah.
and boom.
So I wanted to do something like he was doing, and so I called myself Sweet Ebony Diamond. And I sent the picture to him, and they said, come on over. So I flew myself to England. I think I was getting paid $25 per match. And I just learned. The one thing that Steve told me, he said, listen, when you go there, the number one rule is to keep your ears open and to keep your mouth shut. And it was a very quick way to learn to wrestle, was just to the experienced guys, the veterans out there working in front of people, learning how to work in front of people and how to put on a good show. I really learned a lot over there in England. Yep.
Wow, so it's a great experience. And starting, because when you came over there, do you know any bombs?
I didn't know.
You didn't know nothing.
I didn't know nothing.
So,
nothing. I didn't know nothing. And I remember, I knew one spot, which was lock up, take a head, shoot off, tackle, drop down,
international,
right?
The one that everybody learns in the beginning.
Yeah, tackle, drop down, leapfrog, hip toss.
Yes.
And I remember the first night I did it. It's the first time I ever do this spot. I did this spot, and then when I came back to the locker room in the back, Paige's father, Ricky Knight, he says to me, he goes, "Hey mate, you stole my spot, you bastard!" And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I felt so bad that I stole a spot. But I did not know anything about wrestling. And the guys over there in England, it was Robbie Brookside, Doc Dean, Frankie Sloan. They were called the Liverpool lads. Steve Rigo wasn't there at that point. Dave Taylor was there. And then Paul New, who was PN News in WCW. Cannonball Grizzly, they called them over there in Europe. He had a huge career over in Europe, and Paul really helped me out a lot. That was, in my opinion, one of the best big men that were great big man worker. You know what I mean?
Yes.
A big man that could move, could sell, could get the people so mad at him. He was about 400 and something pounds at that time. I don't know if you remember PN News.
PN News, yeah. He had a short time in WCW.
Right, he would do the rap thing.
Yeah.
But then when he was overseas, he was called Cannonball Grizzly. He would just beat people up, and he kind of helped me out a lot in my career when I was over there, helping me out and teaching me.
So do you consider yourself a lucky guy? Because nowadays, nobody can do that. Like, just take a picture and send it to a promoter and say, "Get over here."
Oh, yeah, you can.
Yes?
Yeah, you could do that. I'm sure Vince McMahon has hired a lot of people with just a picture.
Probably, yeah.
I think so.
But it's not so easy.
Usually they become the biggest stars and make the most money in this business, the people that don't know how to work.
Yeah, it's happening right now, I think. But anyway.
It's happened it's always happened.
It's always happened.
But it's been a good mix, It's been, because there's been a lot of guys that are great workers too and that have made a lot of money in this business too. There's been a lot of great workers that haven't made a lot of money in this business, but still we're able to touch. I think a lot of the thing about wrestling is, and I'm starting to understand that now, especially coming back to Puerto Rico. I get these guys that come up to me, they go, "Oh man, I remember watching you when I was 4 years old." I was like, okay, thank you for making me feel old, but also thank you for letting me affect you that way, where you would want to come up and say, thank you for that.
And now he's in a locker room seeing you and, sharing a locker room with you. And for those guys, it's an honor. It was an honor for me that the first time I was in a car in the real roster. And I'm in the same room with all these guys. Yeah. They've been kicking ass since a couple of years, and they're great. They're still great, Yeah. I think it's the same feeling for them. So, in the UK, you mentioned a guy that I knew back in 4 years ago, in 2014, Robbie Brookside.
Oh, Robbie Brookside.
He's a hell of a guy.
Yeah.
He used to be a punk rocker. He still is.
Yeah.
And the UK style is a lot of grappling, a beautiful grappling, a lot of,
We used to say they would tie you up in knots.
Yes.
They literally would tie you Some of there was Johnny Saint. I remember Johnny Saint, Danny Boy Collins, even the British Bulldogs, Dynamite Kid. I got to work with Dynamite in England a couple times, and those guys, brother, they would tie you up so much, and then they could let go, but you are still tied up,
yes,
and you couldn't get out until they come to let you out. You know, so those guys were awesome, man. Awesome.
So
Steve Regal, like, and to be honest with you, what Steven Regal has done for not only the world of wrestling, but for his home country of England is incredible. I don't know if you've seen the stuff that WWE is doing over in England,
the UK right now,
and the talent that is coming out of there right now
is
getting
just huge.
And that's all due to those guys, to Dave Taylor, Stephen Regal,
Robbie
to
Brookside.
He's
a trainer in the Performance
Doc
Center.
Dean, yeah, Frankie Sloan, all those guys. You know, that have all done that. You know, it's incredible and wonderful wrestling. Like, wrestling, good stiff wrestling, but with moves and high spots and a story, and it's not just bing bang boom, bang bing bang boom. They
took their time, you know, and little by little they were building the match.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you had the opportunity to. Back in the days, I used to see matches from the UK. They do it by rounds.
Yes.
Like 2 or 3 falls, but over there they call rounds.
And when I wrestled in Germany for Otto Wanz, they did it in rounds.
Rounds,
It was Victor Quinones got me booked in Germany one time for Otto Wanz, and they do rounds, and they also would do if the heel starts to beat up the babyface, the people would pay a fine.
Okay.
For the heel for some reason, and they would actually. I remember coming back after a match, and they gave me this money, and I said, "What's this for?" He said, "Well, you get it because the people pay fines for every time you attack him when the round is." I remember I was sitting there, the round's over, and my corner was saying, "Go get him!" So I go over and start to punch the guy, and the ref would put me back, and they go, "Fine for the corner," and then the people go, "Okay, we have to pay," so they pay for. I don't know.
That's crazy.
That was crazy, but it was a great way to make a couple extra dollars.
Oh, hell yeah!
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So okay, how many years you stood in the UK and before you came back to America?
So I was in England for I think probably about 1 or 2 years, and then I came back to Canada and I met Sean Morley, Val Venus. I met him in Toronto, and he and I brought him over. He was just learning as well. I think Sean was probably about 190 or 180 pounds soaking wet. 6'3", 180 pounds.
So you're telling me back in the days, the guys that used to be known as the Canadian Glamour boys, the big guy used to be the small guy.
I was definitely the chubbier guy, but he was flaco. He was skinny. You know, like it's to look at the pictures of him then and then when he was in WWE. It's incredible how much size he put on for that. But I met him in Toronto, and then I got him and I booked over in England again. We went over there as a tag team, and we worked on our tag team maneuvers. And then when we came back, he phoned Carlos. I don't know why he did this, but he ended up phoning Carlos to see if they needed a tag team. And Carlos phoned them back and said, because at that time it was the Eliminators.
Yes.
I think John Kronos and Perry Saturn.
Yes.
They were called the Eliminators, and they were down here, but they had to leave for some reason, so they needed another tag to work with Invader and Rex King at the time.
All right.
So they flew us in the next day. We were in Caguas. The first town I go to is Caguas, and we go to the back there, and there is Invader, and there is Rex King looking all nervous, and Invader goes, "Amigo, I do not take a bump. I do not bump for you. I do not bump for anybody." And I thought to myself, well, shit, what the heck am I going to do tonight?
Yeah.
But you know what? We ended up having a really, really good match, and they ended up offering us a contract, you could say, to stay for a while.
You had a great career here with Sean.
Yeah.
You know, you came in what year?
94.
94.
Yeah.
So early 90s, and since that day, Shane... You know, the tag team, everybody knew the tag team. Yeah. You started as a heels.
Yeah, we were bad
You were
guys.
the Canadian Glamour boys, Shane and Sean.
Yeah.
I remember those days. I used to watch Capitol because my brother, he left WWC like, I think a year or 2 years before you came.
Yeah.
And he went to Ben's.
Yeah.
But I always... I was raising wrestling since I think I was 4 years old. I'm watching wrestling.
Yeah.
So I remember those days, and I used to hate you guys because you were so good. you were a good heel tag team.
Good, we did our job.
Yeah.
It was sad, man. I always wanted that tag team to do really well. I really thought that Sean and I. One of my favorite wrestlers at that time was Sean. That guy was he was a hard worker. He would study his craft. He knew where he wanted to go. He wanted to go to WWF at the time. Yes. That was his focus, and whatever Sean's focus was, he would put 100% into it, and that's what he would go and get it done. No matter nobody's going to say no, nobody's going to stand in my way. Attitude. He just went after it, and he did. He was very, very successful doing it. Yeah.
So you told me something that I remember. Your first town you came to Puerto Rico was Caguas, and you had a lot of histories.
I lived in Caguas for
that's why
like 10 years.
10 years, and your school used to be in Caguas in the park.
Yep. It's a nice ring.
The best.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah. And then somebody tried to take it away from me.
That's another history.
Is that another story?
Yeah, we're gonna get that in a while. Damn you, Savio.
Damn you, Savio. But we didn't give up our ring. And you know what? But to be honest with you, Savio, you were the one that helped me to find that. And then you wanted to take it, but then it all worked out so good because after that, the chemistry of you and I wrestling in the IWA was wonderful because a lot of it was real. Yeah. You know, a lot of people don't realize a lot of the stuff that happens in wrestling is real. A lot of the angles you see on TV is a real life, is what's happening in what's happening in the people's lives.
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes that is the best wrestling porque verdad es verdad. It's good.
And people will see a hell of a show. Them, they're killing each other.
Well, that's one thing about the Puerto Rican wrestling is that you have to fight here in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
You have to fight. It's not like in England where it's maneuvers back and
forth. It's more technician. Here it's more brawling.
Yeah, it's more brawling.
You gotta fight because if you don't fight, they're gonna kick your ass.
If you're gonna wrestle here to stay here and live here for a long time, you're going to fight a lot. You're going to bleed a lot. You're going to have a lot of pain in your body, but it's going to be. It's going to be a wonderful experience because there's no other place in wrestling like Puerto Rico, you know?
So, after all the traveling that you have done, you came here in '94 with Sean. You got a hell of a career here with Sean in tag team. Then Sean goes to Vince, right?
Yeah. Well, he went to, I think he went and had a tryout. He went to work with Quinones.
In Japan?
No, just whatever Quinones was doing.
Because back in the days, Quinones has a lot of places to go, right?
Right. So he
was a war promoter.
He kind of found Quinones as his promoter at the time, I think, to promote him, right?
Yes.
And then I think Quinones got him a tryout in WCW first, so that WCW looked at them, and then he went and had a tryout with Vince, and then he used the tryout that was a good for WCW against the one for WWE and said, hey, listen, if you want to use this guy, you better sign him now because he's going to go to WCW. I think Quinones was the one who got him to sign right out of the deal. And 6'3", 6'4", 260 pounds at the time. Yeah, good worker, good attitude, was a great worker. You watch, I think, one of the most underrated wrestlers in WWF history. I think that guy could have been
huge.
It could have been huge, and he was. Not only that, but he had a huge impact on teaching the younger generation over there as well in WWF, right?
Speaking about impact the younger generation, you did that here because you have your school here in Caguas, and you start to teach a lot of guys that today you guys in TV or in the social media you see, like guys like Big, Spectro, like me, like Noel, like Tua, Carlitos. There's a lot of guys that you have teach, and for me, I had, when I start, the first time I went to a gym, to a ring, to take my first bumps, was with the younger guys like Blitz, the twins, Cyrus and Virus, Psycho. They're from my town, so I'll start
Even Orlando Colon?
Orlando, I met him when I went to Carlos the only time.
But he used to train at my school.
Yeah, he used to train over there too. There's a lot of guys that you have teach.
Even Carlos came over one time.
Yeah?
No.
Come on. Don't rip me right now, man. This is my show, damn it. But I remember those days, and before I went to your school, I went with these guys in the gym. They used to go and practice, take their bumps and whatever, take their ring cardio. Then I didn't want to say nothing to Savio because I want to do it by myself.
Right.
Because paying your dues, or what we
Right.
saying before.
You don't want nobody saying you're getting this break.
Yeah,
because
of your
brother.
friend, because
Yeah.
of your
It's
brother,
your
this
family.
and this.
But you know that a lot of times that's the number one way people make it to the top in this business is
Yeah, I know,
by their
I know.
family.
So
So you can look up with New York.
I want to do it the other way around, and so finally somebody snitched me and told him. So he sent me to Lightning. Lightning used to have a school in Toa Baja. So
Yep.
over there I met Noel,
Yep.
and I met Richard Rondon. I met them.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
met those guys over there. And I stood. Nietzsche was another guy that I met there. And I stood there for a couple of months, and I learned the basics. And when I was pretty good in the basics, he said, okay, you're ready for the next step. Now you go to Shane. Say, damn, to Shane. Let's go over there. So Noel and me went the first time over there, and I remember those
You
days.
still owe me for 2 months of.
Yeah, I never paid Shane. I think that the first weeks, and then I didn't pay nothing.
Maceta.
I was smart. But I remember because you're when we used to go over there, you teach us so good. You're so great, such a great teacher, and you take your time. You have patience for that. And I remember the story. And I was yesterday. I was like thinking, yeah, I remember this. One day you were telling us something, and you start like stuttering like this. Oh boy, I don't remember. I said, man, what happened? You're forgetting things. And you told me, one day you will be my age, and this will happen to you, and you'll remember.
Yeah.
And brother, it has happened
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember every time that happened to me, like I'm talking to somebody, and what the fuck I was saying?
Yeah.
And I don't remember. I said, fuck, Shane used to told me that.
Well,
and it's true.
they always used to say that marijuana affects your memory, but bumping affects your memory.
Yeah,
you
straight
can only,
shots.
yeah, you can only imagine the beating that your brain takes. Like
Yeah.
you look at all the football players nowadays that have the problems with the what is the name of that? Oh, I can't remember that, but it's the problem with your brain. Your brain is in liquid every time you're
Yeah.
hitting, or you get hit
It's
with a chair,
shaking.
or you get slammed, or you get thrown to the turnbuckle and your head shake. Your brain is moving and it's bruising, right?
Yeah, and the body is not supposed to do that.
Right, your body's not supposed to do that. So it's very it does happen that the older that you get, well, at least that's what I keep. That's mi excusada. It's my excuse sometimes. I think. Yeah. Okay. First of all, before this goes any further, I think you are a little overdressed for the podcast.
Yeah.
We are here in the beautiful hotel.
Yeah, man.
There's a beautiful pool back there. Here I am in my my
shorts.
my chancletas. I
Yeah.
have my swimsuit and just a regular beach short.
and
you are fully dressed.
Yeah, I'm an asshole right now,
Are
but
you going to? Let me ask you this: for ratings, for viewers on
Yeah.
your podcast, will you jump in the water with me tonight, dressed like this?
no, man. This is my only clothes
Let me
right now.
repeat that. For viewers, for all the people out there, will you jump in the water like this?
No, man. This is my only clothes I got today.
Okay. I'm just putting it out there. Putting it out there.
One thing I remember, back in the school, that you had your patience. You teach us so well, but when you get mad, you make us pay for it.
Yeah, good.
I remember those sit-ups in the grab a rope and boom, and sit-ups and push-ups and this and that. And I say, damn, this is tough. But at the same time, I said I like it because this is building us tougher.
Yeah.
For the time we get our break and go perform in front of the crowd.
Yeah.
And I learned so much, and right now in front of the people, I want to thank you so much. I thank you already, but I want to thank you because this wrestling. When I was younger, I love it to watch it, but I didn't saw myself in a ring performing. Not after I had my depression. I went to a hospital and I said, what the fuck I'm doing with my life? I need something to get all this fucking anger from me. Said, I have it in front of you, man. It's fucking wrestling. Do it. And I want to thank you for that. Like, I want to thank Lightning. I want to thank all the boys in my town. I want to thank also my brother that, he told me, yeah, you're going to the business, but motherfucker, you're going to start putting in and out the ring. And, and go to the towns and put a fucking speakers in your fucking car and go all over the place and take flyers everywhere you go. And that made me love more the business, respect more what you do, guys.
To love it and to hate it at the same time.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, it's a love-hate situation,
Yeah.
but it's the best way to learn. For me, it was the best, and I don't. If I'm born again, if I gotta do it again, I would like to do it like that again. I don't, I love it, and thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
So
you're getting all sentimental now.
yeah, but I'm still not gonna pay for those 2 months. So after that, you work with Carlos. You already have a name here. People love you. Now you're a babyface.
Yeah, it
You were a
was
baby
Sean.
face.
Sean turned on me,
Yeah,
but it wasn't really until I worked with Perot.
Pierrot, the Mexican.
Yeah, from Mexico. And I remember I wrestled him in Guaynabo one night, and I was still kind of, before intermission, around the third or fourth match.
Yes.
Still the undercard, or
Mid-card.
maybe mid card, mid to undercard. And then this one night I had this fight with Perot in Guaynabo, and I tell you, that guy, Perot, that guy could fight.
Yeah, he can go.
Like, he would literally, whenever you'd go out there, you don't know what's going to happen. It was just, he would throw everything at you. Like, he would, if there was something on the ground, he would get that and throw that at you. And we had this one wonderful fight in Guaynabo. And I remember he hit me with something, and it cut me open. And it hit a vein in my forehead, which happens a lot in wrestling, right? And the blood was just, it covered me. Like, I was totally, my blonde hair was covered in red. And I remember looking at the lights, and you guys know when you are bleeding in the ring, when you look at the lights, they all are very fuzzy.
Yeah,
and
everything's blurry.
And I remember I took my belt off and I wrapped it around and I just started to fight him and to beat. And the way that the people got behind me and start to build me up and to fill me with all this energy, we just ended up fighting like two crazies. And then after that, they took me to the hospital. Ricky Santana and Brett Sanders took me to the hospital, and they have to give me blood because I lose so much blood that night.
Wow!
I almost died that one night. I have to throw out my wrestling boots because they were so full of blood that they started to crack, and I have the blood in my hair for at least 3 or 4 days. But I remember after that, I started to notice the people. They bring me in. People started to bring me like bizcocho, tres leches. They started to bring me rice pudding, arroz con dulce. And they started to, whenever I would come, you'd have all these people would say, "Hey, Shane, come here. And they gave me so much love that I ended up feeling that love and then bringing that to the wrestling whenever I would suffer. And then when it was time for me to fight back, I would just feel all that love that the people of Puerto Rico gave me, and I would just try to fight the best way I could, And it really, after that match, it really kind of brought me up to. After that, I think I ended up wrestling with Ray Gonzalez, and I beat him for the WWC Championship in Guaynabo, and the place went freaking crazy. And then I lost it 1 week later. I lost it on the next Saturday, and I couldn't believe it. It was like, let's here you go, and then take it away. But
so
that was pretty much WWC. And then after that, I think I was one of the first guys in WWC to leave to jump. No, Chicky and Victor left.
Chicky and Victor left.
And to the IWA.
Yeah,
and then it all started.
It was starting back in those days.
Yeah.
And with small shows, nobody believed in the product.
Right.
The houses wasn't so bigger.
But the product looked good, right?
The product looked good. and the new image they gave to the people, to the audience,
It was like it was a Puerto Rican version of WWF at that time, of the Attitude Era.
Attitude Era. Yes.
Yeah. It was, and I remember seeing that on the TV on Telemundo, and then that's when I started to talk with Ricky Santana about leaving Capital to go to IWA to move forward, because it was just, the product on TV was so much superior. You had wrestlers coming in from Mexico, you had wrestlers coming in from
Japan, United
States, all over, and it was just like, you need to be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there you go. You're starting IWA. The people start to embrace the product, to like the product. The houses start to go good. So the IWA started that famous tournament to get the first champion for IWA. And you used to, I remember you used to work in tights, boots, and now Shane is a different guy. You know, he got a Puerto Rican flag.
Yeah.
You know, you embrace that, all the love that you told me a couple of minutes ago, all the love, just to embrace that, wearing that. And telling the phrases of Puerto Rico, you know, dancing, rock and roll, this, but then you put merengue, you put salsa, you put reggaeton, you put all those, you blend all those things, and people, you know, get behind that. Yeah. And by the day that match you had, it was with which was the one you had the match for the IWA title?
With Miguel and Ricky Bender.
And Ricky, it was a three-way.
Yeah. And Miguel was trying to get me to. He was trying to. I think at that time he was trying to pay me to let him win the match.
The match, that was the storyline.
No, it was Miguel, Ricky, and Apollo and me. It was a four-way. Yeah, and I think Miguel was paying me to make sure that he would win.
Yeah, he win the champion.
But at the end, I don't accept his money, and I go on my own.
Yeah, because you were the nice guy, the righteous guy, you know, and the guy that was behind all the people. The people was behind him. And,
you know, I said that in an interview, and it's one thing that I still feel it right now, is when that night when I win that match. I remember, and I've watched it back a couple times, the way that everybody jump up, it was like something like a light go into our heart and in our soul for the IWA. It was like it was a lit, like a pilot light for the stove. It was like it lit and the stove lit up. And we ran with that for a while, and now every time I come back to Puerto Rico, I still feel that I'm kind of like a beacon for all you guys that got to wrestle in IWA and got to bleed and to suffer and to go through all the ups and the downs with IWA. That whenever, if I can still get over here and do something with you guys, it feels like that there's still a little chance that the IWA can come back and be great again. Yeah. And I so believe that, and I love being that light for you guys, because, man, let me tell you, you guys have so much fight left in you. Dennis, you have so much fight left in you. You have to just keep fighting, okay? Yeah. Keep fighting. That's it.
So you became the champion. With that, let's say that you are one of the founding fathers of the IWA because of your work, and that became with that day of Savio giving you the super kick, and from that day, Shane, everybody loved Shane. Now they love him 3 times more. Yeah. And Savio was the biggest heel, the SOB, this and that, and all those matches you have, all the blood you left in every town you went. But you know, like we were talking before, like Shane, he's always suffering, he's always on the floor, but he always fighting. And one day he's gonna kick your ass.
Maybe not kick your ass, but at least get the 1, 2, 3.
The 1, 2, 3.
And basically that's what it's all about, right? At the end is to get that 1, 2, 3, that sense of vindication. And
nowadays I've seen, you know, we got here a lot of talent in the island. There's a lot of, it's ridiculous all the talent we have.
Crazy.
But till today, I haven't seen the guy that can suffer so like you. Yeah. In that,
you mean take a beating?
Yeah, take the beating like you, but take a beating is easy. Make it look good.
Oh, and take a beating.
And take a beating.
Yeah, it's not hard when somebody else is kicking your ass.
That's the thing, because I remember, man, when Bison came first time, Bison, he was a stiff.
I miss Bison.
Yeah, man, me too. Me too.
I was there when he passed away, and I'll tell you something.
You were the guy.
I'll never forget that, and what a tremendous talent he was.
A tremendous person. He was
tremendous
a great
person.
Guy.
He
great
was,
guy.
yeah, he was awesome.
You know, talk to him. It was so fun for me, and
to wrestle with him too, right?
To wrestle, it was. You know, it was.
Hey, it's not many people you could hit in the head as hard as you wanted to, and
he's still he's like okay. Nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only one.
Yeah,
the only one. And
a tremendous head.
Oh man,
and
he's
heart.
a big hat.
Yeah, and heart.
And heart.
Yeah.
And he was a great guy, man.
Yes,
I miss him so much, and you know, it's sad.
Yes,
I hope his wife and his kid is doing good.
Yeah.
And talking about, you know, Bison was one of those guys that came to the island and fell in love with the island. So are you. So was Slash. Used to.
And Abyss. You remember Abyss?
Yeah. He learned the business here. He learned a lot of things here. Yeah. A lot of guys a lot of guys, including when they used to come to Carlos, they learn a lot in the business here. Play, the way we work here is different.
A lot of I think a lot of the base of Puerto Rican wrestling comes from the influence of Memphis, I think.
Yes.
Because you used to have a lot
of...
Yeah,
so alike.
Yeah, it was fighting in Memphis too.
Brawling, bleeding,
like Jerry Lawler back in the day. He'd put that strip off and he'd start to the people.
Lawler and Terry.
Yeah.
Oh man, those were great matches. And they're kick punch, but they did it so good.
Oh yeah.
They make it look so good, man. And that's you gotta be an artist to make it look so beautiful.
A lot of the bookers that came to Puerto Rico were from that area. So Kenny Wayne, Dutch. I think even Bill Dundee came here for a little bit too.
Luke,
the bushwhacker. Yeah, he had. What a tremendous guy that guy is, eh?
Mate.
Yeah.
Love Mate.
Yeah.
How you doing, good, mate?
Great. He is doing good. He's still kicking ass.
He's still kicking ass.
Yes.
And he's the manager of the Hogan's gym, right?
No, he owns
now?
Clearwater Fitness in Clearwater in Florida. Which is probably about 25, 30 minutes from where I live.
All right.
And that's right down the street from Hogan's Beach Shop. But Hogan's always in there training. So if you're ever in Clearwater and you want to run into Hulk Hogan and take a picture of Hulk Hogan, well, maybe not take a picture. Maybe he might not like that, but probably outside. But just to go work out. A lot of the other wrestlers work out there as well. And I think he's doing very, very well. I think he's still wrestling around the world.
So happy for him.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. Yeah, man, he's still going. And he's like almost 70,
career,
right? He's 70 already?
Yo no sé.
Well, last time when he was here, he was 60-something. Yeah, he's got to be in the 70s. But that guy's tough.
Yeah.
That guy's
still
tough.
Still fighting.
God, I love you, mate. Whatever you are, man, I love you. So, yay! So, after all these years in IWA, right, the beatings, the victories, the losses, all the times
the ups and downs.
The ups and downs.
A lot of ups and downs in Puerto Rico for me. It's a lot of people don't know, but me being originally from Canada, Puerto Rico was a great escape I never really did well in Canada at anything. I always did better when I was outside of Canada. Whenever I was in Canada, I was always getting into trouble. I don't know what it was, but I was always getting into trouble in Canada. It wasn't until I started to travel to different countries, just to meet different people and to understand the way that the world was and to understand how people interact, to all get along. And finally to end up here in Puerto Rico, to feel the love of the people. I mean, it was just... here in Puerto Rico, come over to my house. My mom, my grandma, she's cooking arroz con pollo.
See a boxing fight.
Yeah,
come. A couple of drinks. And let's have a good time.
Watching Tito beat up on De La Hoya was one of my favorite things. Being down here. The next day when Tito came back in Isla Verde here, they shut that down.
Yeah.
And we had a biggest party. I remember when I was on a show with Tito one time here in Bayamon.
All right.
And he was the referee it was Ray versus, I can't remember who he was wrestling.
Ray and Orlandito, I think.
Yeah, and then Tito was the referee. I remember I go up to him before I say, hey, thank you for beating De La Hoya because the next day I have the best party ever when you come to the island. And he looked at me like he don't know what I'm saying, but it was a nice honor for me to get to meet him,
So, like I was telling, we were talking about Bison / and you found a home here in the island.
Yeah.
So much that Bison, he married, he had a son here, and so were you.
Yeah.
Your wife?
I met
your wife
I
here
saw
in Puerto
my
Rico?
wife. I saw my wife in Lupis. We finished the show. It was a Saturday night, and we were out drinking and dancing in Lupis. And then I think it was me, Sean, D'Lo, Big Vito, and I think Ricky maybe not, but somebody else was there.
Right.
And they all left. We were all leaving. So when I go out the door, I saw my wife Callie dancing she wasn't my wife at the time, but I saw her dancing on the dance floor. And I said, I leave. And then I stopped. And I say, I need to go back and talk to that girl. So I went back and I started talking and dancing. And then, and then the next thing some time goes by and we end up getting married. And she had 2 kids at the time, Ricky and Tatiana. And then we ended up having a son, Michael. And now Ricky and Tatiana have 2 babies. Ricky has Mia and Melanie, and then Tatiana has Adriancito and Cariel. She just had a baby 3 days ago. Oh. So I am a 4-time grandpa.
Grandpa Shane.
Yes, I'm a 4-time grandpa.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you very much.
I hope my son is 19, but Motherfucker, if you get a girlfriend, I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm
Cuidado.
not ready to be a grandpa yet.
It's nice, brother. Let me tell you something. What's wonderful about that, because the grandkids come over, and the parents always have to take them back.
Yeah.
You know, so they make a little bit of a mess, and then you give them some candies, and then they go away, and you have your privacy back, yeah?
So, man, you found, you had your son here in Puerto Rico. You live in Caguas for a long time. You lived then in Carolina, I think.
Yeah, Carolina.
For a long time.
Yeah.
And after that, the hurricane and stuff, you left like a lot of people. And,
it wasn't after the hurricane.
No, it was before, right?
No, I think the relationship with WWE had when Victor Quiñones passed away, the relationship with WWE kind of fell apart.
Yes.
And WWE then started to put their own TV show here in Puerto Rico. Before it was just IWA and Capital.
Yes.
There was no WWE.
Yes.
And then when Quiñones left, WWE started putting their own product in here. They started putting it wasn't SmackDown, it was Raw and Velocity.
Velocity, I think.
So the people started to see that, and then what was happening, the wrestling was on pretty much every day.
Yes.
Every day in Puerto Rico was a Velocity or a Raw or a Replay or something having to do with WWE. The local wrestling suffered.
Yeah, of
big
course.
time,
Of course.
And when it did, a lot of the boys, I couldn't really make a living at it anymore. So I got an opportunity to go to TNA to work as a referee.
As a ref.
And
I want to talk about that because I was saying, like, man, those guys know what they got, and they like a ref. I know you did your angle and stuff, but you did so much more.
But it was. I was very beat up at that time. I had blown out my knee. I had torn my bicep. My back was sore. So it was my choice as well, because I wanted to be part of the business, but I didn't want to have the grueling schedule of having to wrestle every night. And it was a wonderful way to still be part of the business,
yes,
but not to have to get beat up every night and to put your body through that. So at that time it was TNA was awesome to work for.
Yeah, I remember.
It was awesome.
I used to watch you in TV like that.
They have catering. They have, sometimes you can get like a private a change room all by yourself if you wanted to. Even the referees, come on, the referees get their own change room. It's wonderful.
Here that doesn't happen.
And I got to meet a lot of nice people. I got to meet Sting over there, and I really liked him. And then also Earl Hebner. I used to work a lot with Hebner. That guy's incredible, and it's not his fault that he screwed Brett. He was just,
he's
doing his job, man. He's the referee. What are you going to say to Vince McMahon if he tells you something?
Because if not, he's going to be the next fired that day.
Yeah. Unless Earl really did screw Brett.
Yeah.
Which maybe he did. Who knows?
Yeah. I think
it's still a mystery.
I think Brett screwed Brett.
Maybe. But I don't know. I've never met Bret Hart before, but huge Canadian hero.
He's a legend. He's a legend from the Hearts. The Hearts, all of them.
I never got to meet any of those guys.
Well, my favorite was Owen, always.
Yeah.
I met Owen when I went with Savio over there in, I think it was the 97.
Yeah.
And man, that guy, he was always doing pranks and stuff with a lot of everybody.
Everybody loved him, eh?
Yeah, everybody loved him.
Loved
he was
him so
a
much.
nice guy. He was such a nice guy. Everywhere he go, he was always joking, having a good time. With a water pistol, I remember one day, I'm like, I was like 16, 17, like a young guy, like scary, with all these big dudes in a corner, and suddenly the door opens, and it's fucking Owen and Goldust with a water pistol.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this?
Well, you're in the building all day. You got to have fun.
Yeah.
But no, everybody I've talked to is always they've always said that they loved Owen. I never got a chance to meet the guy, and I wish I would have.
So after all the things you did, you started in UK. You came to Puerto Rico. You went to Germany. You went to TNA. You never went to Canada and do like
a little bit in Canada. I worked with The Rock's uncle, Ricky Johnson, in Toronto, and he would put on shows in bars and stuff like that, and we did some shows over there for him, and it was nice to work for him over there. But then went to Japan. I did New Japan Pro Wrestling, which was awesome.
How was Japan?
Awesome.
Great, right?
Yeah.
That was my dream always to work CMA.
Don't say it was, because you never know.
I remember one day, it was with you. We were in Las Piedras. It was you, Bison, and me. We were talking, and that day Bison told me, like, you want to go to Japan.
Yeah, when he came back, he passed away.
And when he came back,
because he did go and speak for I think he did.
Yeah, you're ready to stop drinking and start smoking and go out here in the dojo. I say, hell yeah, to Japan. I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Say, okay, I'm going to talk to the guys. And when he came back, he passed away,
Yeah.
and it's sad. But anyway, all these years you've been in wrestling, do you have a one story, the best experience that you ever have in wrestling? That there's always one or two. Do you have one that you appreciate the most?
In wrestling, as far as like a match or...
Let's say a match, and then we go to another topic of your best moments. Let's start with matches.
Man, one of my favorite things here was wrestling with Ricky Banderas and Bayamon in a ladder match. They have a ladder match and I remember coming out and looking at the title, and it was so high.
Yeah.
The pole, like
Gustavo used to put it like in the fucking palm tree.
Right.
There.
But
yeah.
you sometimes, like on the house shows, the wire holding the thing would
like
be very
this.
low
Yeah.
and be kind of slanted.
Yeah.
This time it was high, and I remember I said, is it supposed to be that high? And I remember the last part of the match where I did go to Hugo before this, because I was very, very nervous before this match. Not only because Ricky always brought it, he always would fight like a mother. You know, like in his matches, you're always in a fight with Ricky.
Yeah.
He was going to bring it no matter what. And that was one of the wonderful things about wrestling with Ricky, because you're always going to... He brought out your best. He brought out your best. And I remember going to Hugo and asking him to pray for me, because I felt like I needed I needed God on my side that night, and he prayed for me, and we went out there, and the last thing I remember jumping up and grabbing onto the title, and I remember falling down to the ground and then letting the title go, and then it shot straight up in the air. And I remember hitting the ground and looking up in the air at that title in the lights, and it was like in slow motion, you know? It was just coming right down, and it came right down beside me, and all I had to do was just to reach over and to grab it. And the people went, rah! That was probably one of my favorite. Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite moments.
Do you have a funny story in the road?
No, I'm not allowed to talk about funny stories.
Yeah.
No.
We always wrestlers, we tend to shut the fuck up in those.
Some people just keep their mouth shut.
Yeah.
Remember what I said about when we learned.
Open your ears
and keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna give you a pass on that one, because I know Kali can kick your ass. No, just joking around.
Whoever I tell the story, maybe they're going to get mad too, but who knows?
But man, I know that you here in the island. I know that one of your best friends in the island is Moody.
Yes.
And Moody, he did a lot for you in wrestling, you know, because he was one of the bookers too.
He was.
And he, in a way, took care of you, not because he was your friend, because you were the man. You earned that. You know, you got the respect of everybody, and he knew how to work around you in your character.
Moody could put those music videos together. When he would put a music video together, and the same thing with, I really noticed it in the street. It wasn't until Moody started to do those music videos, and putting the emotion to the music, to the
inserts of the little
things. Then people really, and that's one of the reasons why it took off so much like it did, and that's why it still does whenever he does those things.
Yes.
When he puts his time and energy into doing it. It automatically, I would go down the street and everybody would be honking their horn, change, and they always say the same thing, change.
Yeah, he made that shit famous, man. He made that shit till today.
Yeah. Thanks, Moody.
I got co-workers.
I just had people yelling at me outside.
I got co-workers. I got a few that they're wrestling fans. And I think today I was saying, probably today after work I'm going to interview Shane, and he's my Shane, come on, man, we're in the work, behave, man, come on, we're grown ups already, come on.
Yes.
But it's that big, and that's cool. That's cool that people still today remember those videos, those matches, that beautiful career that you have here in the island, and not even the island, all over the world, but the island, I think it's a special place for you.
Me, for sure. I don't wrestle anywhere else but here in Puerto Rico.
Right now, this is the only place.
That's the only place.
So that that's big, and you guys, you should be proud of that, because the guy only comes to wrestle here for you guys, because that's much love he got for you, and that's awesome. What else I was doing? We were talking,
About going
before.
to the pool.
No, fuck that. No. Come on, Shane. Let's go to the happy hour best. It's better, and it's free. Let's say now that you come here in the island, I know that Shane will become. Shane will be back in soon here to the island, to the WWL right now. He's having a big fight with a couple of guys here.
Nothing
Is
how it seems, ¿verdad?
Nada es lo que parece.
Eso así. Yeah.
All right. So Shane, tell me, you're living in Tampa?
Yes.
You have your own business?
Yes. Have junk.
How business is doing in Tampa?
Wonderful. It's one of the wonderful things about Tampa is that there's a lot of money in Tampa. There's a lot of people that keep buying furniture and then getting rid of the old furniture, and they have no basements
to store
the stuff. So everything goes in the garage, and then everybody goes, "Oh, I can't park my car in the garage anymore. I have all this junk I have to get rid of. Who are we gonna phone? Let's phone Shane." So I come in and then I remove it for them.
You do the work.
I donate the stuff that can be donated. I recycle the metal, and whatever I can't donate or recycle, I take it to the waste energy plant where they burn it, and they use that as energy to run the plant.
So you're a ecologist warrior right now. So
everything
That's
is
great,
going.
man.
I love it, man. I love doing it because a lot of people feel overwhelmed when they have a lot of junk in their house. You know, people collect a lot of stuff, and sometimes they get too much without throwing anything away. So this is a good way for me to come in to clean it out for them, to make space, so now they can park their cars in their garage, and then I can take it to the right location that it needs to go to.
Man, if you were here by the hurricane, you'll be a millionaire.
But it won't work here. You
No,
know why?
I know.
Because everybody gets a family member.
Yeah,
with a truck to do it.
everybody has a truck, or somebody knows somebody that has a truck or
It's
two
true.
trucks.
It's true.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Let's get our brother to go get it.
Yeah.
Nobody gonna pay for it here, but in Tampa they
do
pay,
it.
Yeah,
They pay good money for it.
Yeah, because the garbage don't pick it up. You cannot put the stuff by the curb.
It's not like here.
No, it's not like here. So you can't put it by. All you can do is put your garbage bags by the trash. You cannot put furniture or anything like that.
Okay.
So it's a good business in Tampa because it's a necessity for people to get rid of stuff in order to make space in their home.
Comparing Tampa to this, Tampa is huge.
Yeah. Speaking of Tampa, 813-455-5275. Shane from Have Junk. It's the easy way to get rid of your junk. If you want to reclaim your space, get rid of that old furniture, old refrigerator, old junk that's hanging around in the garage, in the backyard, at the side of the house. Give Shane from Have Junk a call, 813-455-5275.
Give him a call, and he take care of that for you, man.
Maybe I'll even let you slam me.
So
for an extra 50.
Well, the only junk I like is the junk in the trunk, but that's the who doesn't?
Who doesn't like the junk in the trunk?
So, man, it's right now that you're coming sometimes here in the island and do the shows, and you're working with a newer generation.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of young veterans like Big. Let's say who else we got 450? There? 450.
Oh, tremendous.
For me, he's right now the best wrestler in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
He's got to be the best in Puerto Rico. There's a couple guys that are coming for his throne, but they in a couple of years probably Mendoza, Electro,
BJ,
probably BJ. Probably, but you gotta behave better, BJ.
Dennis?
No, Dennis is retired. Noel still got it.
You remember what we said before that wrestlers can't retire?
Wrestlers can't retire.
Yeah.
The other day I was talking to a good friend of mine about that, and he told me like, hey, man, I know that because of your injuries in your back and neck, you can maybe take the bumps, but you can be a hell of a manager. You got a big fucking mouth.
Yeah, but I don't think you're going to be a manager. I still think you have a lot of ass kicking left in you.
Well, let's see. It's early.
It is early.
So, but man, the interview is about you.
Okay.
So, what do you think about all these new generation guys from now this new era, this new century?
It's wonderful. I just wish that they would get the opportunity to wrestle against some foreign talent, like some guys from Japan, some guys from Mexico, some guys from I mean, what a wonderful way to show off your talent and to have them work against people from other countries and other places. Those guys bring that style over here, so the wrestler here has to adapt to that style, and they make a wonderful match, you know. So, and that was one of the wonderful things about the IWA, was that you would have like guys like Super Crazy over here, and Tajiri, Taka Michinoku, all those the guys from Japan, the guys from Mexico, the guys from England, the guys from everywhere, you know. And then you'd have a great mix, and it was just, as a fan watching wrestling, you got to see so many different styles, you know.
It makes everybody better.
Yeah, it makes everybody better because you're learning different styles. Yeah. And so when you go to work and to wrestle into their country, you know, you can bring your style, but also work with them in the same with their style and make a tremendous match.
So, do you have any advice to the these guys, these new guys,
the new
generation? Do you have some advice for them? You know, the good stuff from veteran like you.
I mean. My advice would be to a young guy that's from Puerto Rico, wrestling in Puerto Rico, is you need to get out of Puerto Rico in order to learn from some of the other styles, like we were talking about, from England, from Africa, from Japan, from Mexico, from all these different places, to go learn those styles, make a name for yourself out there, and then when you come back, your value is going to be so much more that you'll be able to make money, rather than just doing a show because you want to do a show on the weekend to wrestle, you know, and then go out there and kill yourself.
That's the story of 450 right now.
He left and made a name for himself, and now he's exactly. And it was the same thing with Sean and I. When we in Canada, we couldn't start in Canada. We went, you know, other places to wrestle. So then when you came back to Canada, you already had a resume. You know, you already had videos from different countries. You already had different styles that you could wrestle. You really have to get out of your comfort zone in anything that you do in order to be successful. Because once you are comfortable, you stay right there. You don't move your ass for nothing.
You don't evolve.
And all you do is complain about that it's their fault. It's that person's fault. It's this person's fault. You have to take responsibility for you. If you want to be a WWE superstar, then you need to be where the WWE is in Orlando.
If you want to be a AAA, you got to go to Mexico.
And you have to be there to be ready if they need you. And some people go, oh, well, you can't just show up. Yeah, you can just show up with a bag. And if you see some guy from the wrestling, say, hey, listen, here's my card. I'm a wrestler. Or, hey, if you need somebody else to wrestle tonight, I have my gear in my bag, to get a shot.
Take chances.
Even if they say no, at least you were there for them to say no, you know. And then if that's not good for you and you don't want to give up, then you come back the next day, and then the next day, and the next day, until they finally do. And I guarantee you, if you show up every day on their doorstep asking them for a match, that one day they'll give you a match just to shut you up and they'll look at you. And you never know what's going to happen, you know. And if that doesn't work, don't stop there, you know. Go back and reinvent yourself, and then come. And a lot of these guys, like the guy from the modern day Maharaja,
Jinder Mahal.
He was in WWE and he wasn't doing that good. He ended up leaving. He came to Puerto Rico to wrestle here. He went to Japan. He reinvented himself, and he came back and
he became a champion over there.
Yeah, you know. So it's a prime example of, no matter how many setbacks you have, if you believe in one thing, to keep on fighting for whatever it is that you want to do. You know, you know, you're not a tree. You have roots here, but you can always go and come back.
Yeah.
You know, you really do need to get out of here and to experience the world, to meet the different guys, to see how the wrestling is, to be in the right place at the right time, because you never know what's going to be the next company to explode, like a ECW or something like that. That, you know, remember when ECW started? That was just a little local thing, and it ended up exploding. It took over. So you never know, but you have to be working in order to be at the right place at the right time. And that's the thing about wrestling, being in the right place at the right time, you know, and having the right people look at you and give you an opportunity.
So, guys, there you have it. Go explore. Take chances.
Get out of here.
Take chances. When I used to work with Moody over there in WWE, I used to tell that to the guys always. Fuck the comfort zone. Yeah. Don't get comfort, because
I swear a lot, you know.
Yeah, because this is my show. I can swear whatever the fuck I want, bro. What the fuck?
Okay.
We can curse all we want. We can curse. Okay. This is YouTube. They don't. It's okay. So I tell them, when I used to be there, like, don't get in the comfort zone. That's a killer.
Yeah,
that's a career killer for everybody. And not even in wrestling, in everyday life.
In anything that you do.
Anything that you do.
You have to always constantly be getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, you gotta be moving all the time, and because
moving. Where? Forward. Always moving
forward. You know, and with the right attitude.
Right.
And you know, and because I see these guys and I know they got so much fucking talent. They're so great and discipline. You know, and they tell you we gotta tape this at this time. You get half an hour before, and you read what I got to do, what is that, this and that, you know. Yeah. Always tell them that.
Half an hour, no more. You need to be there way before. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know you gotta do something, get your lines in your head, whatever you gotta do.
To always do more than you're getting paid for. I remember I heard I think it was Jim Rohn that said that. He's a motivational speaker, but he always said that you should always do more than you get paid for. You know, always go that extra little bit. Even though you work hard and you do a good job, if you do that little bit extra that they don't expect, they'll always remember you doing that.
Yes.
You know, and then they'll always, hey, what about that guy? Because, you know, that guy, they'll remember that. That touches a chord with people. When you go above and beyond in doing a job for somebody, they really respect that. Yep.
That's true, bro.
Yeah. You ready to go in the water?
No, I'm ready to go to the bar. So, man, thank you so much, Shane, for having this little chit chat with the champ.
Yeah. You and your family, your mom, your dad, and your brother, you guys have always had a very special part of my life, and you know it's been a huge part of my life with the time that I've been here in Puerto Rico. Seeing you,
for me, man, and for Fabio too. You know, a lot of guys, Moody. We always talk when I talk with Moody. We always talking about you. I talked to him the other day. I wrote in WhatsApp and still blue. Yeah, that's in response. So I'm write him, Moody. Yeah. Write him.
Yeah,
he's alone.
But I'm glad that you have the podcast, that you're constantly doing something different, which is wonderful. I can't wait to be on the next show with you, whenever it is or wherever it is. Yeah. Because one of the things that I really love is to watch you kick ass as well. Okay, brother. So
thank you, man.
Here's to the continued success to you and your family.
So to you, man, and your business.
To come back and to be on the same show as you. Eh?
Yeah. Well, maybe we're gonna have a part 2 of this, and next time let's try to bring Moody and do the 3 of us. That's gonna be fun as hell.
Okay, wonderful. So now we go in the pool.
No.
Now we go.
Let me do my promo now.
You have to do a promo.
Yeah, it's gonna be quick.
Go ahead with your promo.
Esto ha sido un episodio más de La Vuelta Un Podcast con Actitud. Recuerden que nos pueden escuchar por Apple de Podcast, nos pueden escuchar en Spotify, nos pueden escuchar en iHeartRadio, en Spreaker. Se pueden conectar por Instagram, por Facebook, por Twitter y nuestro canal de YouTube como La Vuelta PR. Es totalmente gratis y es súper divertido. Mi invitado de hoy, el chico glamoroso, el campeón del pueblo de Puerto Rico. ¡Woo! Shane, tell them again, to the people in the States that are watching, your phone number for your business so they can have it again.
813-455-5275. It's time to get it on to the break of dawn. Time to rap, reggae, salsa, merengue, rock and roll, hoochie coo. Time to drop the elbow from heaven on your stinking carcass. And you know why, Dennis?
Why?
Because anything less from the Glamour Boy would be uncivilized.
Woo!
Eso así.
La Vuelta. Gracias.
Tú no ves que aquel gallo soy yo.